Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm finally getting around to taking the Toro Power Max 26-inch electric snowblower out of the box. This is the model 39926, and I've had this sitting around for a while, just haven't gotten around to taking it out of the box. And we had snow the other day, so maybe it's time to get it up and get it running. Just so you know, today while I'm doing this, I'm also making some pulled pork. So if you hear some noise in the background, that's what's going on here. My smoker is up and running. Let me show you what I got inside. 40 pounds of pork roast, pork butt. So it takes about 10 hours to cook this completely, so this is a good time to work on this snowblower while this is busy cooking today. I looked at the operator's manual, and this doesn't look like it's going to be any different than putting a regular gas-powered Power Max together. So I'm going to use a 3/8-inch socket set, a channel locks, a Milwaukee channel locks that's designed to handle nuts, and then a box cutter. That should be all I need to put this together. So let's get started. Down in the dirt. Some manufacturers take and put the snowblower on a pallet, tie it onto the pallet, then put a cardboard box over top of it. Toro, with the Power Max, they put the snowblower in a box and then set it on a pallet. So each one is a little bit different. Let me open this up. And the sun is shining, but it's only 32 degrees, so it's going to be an interesting day. All right, get it open. All right, what we got in here? We got a snowblower. We got a chute. The chute is bolted onto the bracket sideways. We'll have to remove these bolts here and here and then put the chute back on. We'll have to cut these two cable ties, because this has got the rod for the chute and the operator's manual and the bolts for the handle in it. That's about it. Over here on this side, there is the rod for this. That's the rod for the shift control. So, yeah, my lighting isn't real good here today, but I think you guys will be able to see it as soon as I get the box off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, with my box cutter, I'm going to cut the sides of the box off so we can work on this easier. All right, when that's done, I'll be back. All right, so the box is off far enough that we can put this together now. If you bought the snowblower with batteries, the batteries are down in the bottom of the box, and the chargers to go with them. There is some plastic that coverings that you can take off. We'll get around to that in a little bit. Everything looks nice inside. Key for the ignition. A little more plastic here around the front to keep the front from being scratched inside the box. The really nice thing about putting this snowblower together is it is a Toro Power Max 826 with an electric motor controller on top of it. In other words, all they did was replace the engine with this electric motor unit. So Batteries go in this, the motor's inside. Uses the same belts and pulleys. Everything else on the machine is the same as the gas model. So if you've had a gas model in the past or you like the gas model, you're going to really like this one. Today I'm just going to put it together and show you how easy it goes together, and then later on I will do a walk around video and show you all the features and benefits of this snowblower. Okay? Alright, so the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these tie wraps off, take this bag out. There are bolts and nuts and washers in here, which you'll use to put the handle on and the different controls. Then I'm going to take and remove this these bolts that hold this chute on. This is the chute control rod. The silver rod is the speed control lever. You can use a open end wrench to hold this nut on the bottom if you want. This channel locks is designed so it'll hold a nut without scratching everything. And you can use an impact if you want on these. Just because there's not very many bolts, I didn't feel like getting that out today. So the nuts are off. So I'll just take the bolts out. And this bracket, you don't need this bracket either. This piece just slides on here, 2 bolts. I went ahead and put the handles up. You have 2 bolts that are in the package for the bottom holes, and washers and lock nuts. Lift the handle up, stick them in, and then tighten them down on both sides. I read the manual online at Toro.com, and that manual there told me to throw away the 4 bolts that the chute had been mounted to here in the bracket. Well, you get out here and take the parts out of the bag, and there's no bolts for this piece here. So I then took and looked at the manual that came with this machine, and it said use these bolts. So one way or the other, there's been an update. I would probably have to say that the manual that's online is an older version of what came with the snowblower itself. So one little note on tightening nuts and bolts on equipment like this: if you're using your impact driver, don't just sit there with the hammer running until it's really, really tight, because you probably will break a bolt like this off. So your impact drivers, even the ones that you use for screwdriving, have enough power to break a bolt like that off. So be careful. You want these snug tight, but don't over tighten them. Same way goes for the nuts on the handle itself. So make sure they're nice and tight, so nothing wiggles, so it's all nice and solid, but don't over tighten them or you'll bust them. Moving on. All right, there's 3 more things that we have to do before we can put the key in it and start it. First, we need to put the control rod on for the chute. Then we'll have to put the control rod on for the speed control, and finally put the clean out tool on it. So pull this cap off. If you look at this, 2 bolts here, and 1 bolt's going to go here to hold the cable up. So look on the other end, you can see it's flat. I kind of think I want to put it that way. So you stick this in over here on this hole, and Have to rotate it. There it goes. Okay. Take your handle, move that over, and put some bolts in. They are captive bolts, so carriage bolts, so that way you don't have to worry about having 2 wrenches to put these on. And they are locking nuts, so nothing will vibrate loose once you get it all tightened down. The holder for the cable is built right into the cable itself, so just take and put that in, put it through, put your nut on, and tighten all 3 of those down. All right, so let me tighten those up, and we'll try this out. All right, so I got them tightened up. Let's see if it works. It does. Nice and smooth. Can you see this right here? Make for sure that your cable is running underneath, and try to keep that bracket straight up and down just a little bit. That way the cable won't bind up over the years. All right, now onto the shift control rod. The shift control rod has 2 ends. It has a threaded end and then just an angled end. And each end has a cotter pin. Pull the cotter pin out. That's all you'll need to install it with. The solid end goes down on the transmission, and the threaded end goes up on the lever, speed control lever. I recommend that you leave this rubber band on until you get everything installed, and even then you don't need to take it off. The correct place for the neutral on the shifter is set from the factory this way, so it makes everything easier to do. On this end there's 2 washers and a cotter pin. On the other end there's just a cotter pin. So go ahead and pull that off and we'll install it. When you're installing it, when you put the bottom in first and it goes in like I showed you right here, it doesn't go from the back side. You can move this up and down. That's free to move. There's nothing wrong with it moving right now, to line it up for the holes up in the shifter itself. And you can also move this around if you want, so that it's easy to work on. So 1 washer goes on each side, and then the clip. Alright, can you see that? Okay, so again, you can take that rubber band off if you want. If your neutral is not in the right position, you can pull this cotter pin and screw this up and down. Do it 1 or 2 turns at a time only, and everything will be correct. While I'm down here, let's take a look at the cables. On this snow thrower, the cables are loose when it's normal. So when you push down on the handle, they tighten up, and then if you watch that spring, it expands a little bit. And it'll expand about 1/4 to 3/8. That's the way those are supposed to work. And that big noise is a garbage truck. Alright, so that's all done. I think the only thing left I have to do is put the clean out tool on. Clean out tool just goes right in here. The end of the tool is angled, so it sits up against here, and then the other end, it just snaps on. So no brackets or anything. There you go. There's your clean out tool. Alright, let's get this off of the pallet and we'll play with it. Nice thing about the Toro 60-volt system is the batteries fit on everything, so it doesn't matter if you have a 2-stage lawnmower, a leaf blower, a hedge trimmer, a string trimmer, a chainsaw, a power shovel, a single stage snow thrower, or the new single stage snow thrower with the rubber paddles on it. The batteries all interchange. I have 7.5 amp hour batteries, and this came with 7.5 amp hour batteries. So that's what I'm going to use in the snowblower this year, because that'll give me the longest run times. Toro just introduced a 10 amp hour battery, so you'll be able to get even longer run times with this. Real easy to snap in and out. Just grab them. Yeah. And there's an indicator on them to see how much charge in. I just haven't used this battery much on this blower, so it shows fully charged. All right, let's go and stick it in and see if it's going to run right out of the box. I expect it to. Like I say, I'll go into full detail walk around review of this soon, but for now we're just going to test it to see if everything is okay with it. So lift your lid. There is a spot for 3 batteries in here. You see how that opens up, and it's spring loaded, so it closes up nice and tight. You can put your battery in any of the 3 slots. I'm just going to stick this one in here right now. And it clicks in. I'm going to shut this. The keys, comes with 2 keys, are inside this compartment. We'll turn it to the first notch. It lights up, the headlight lights up, shows you what your battery indicator is. You can run 1 battery in here or all 3. You can use a combination of the 6 and the 7.5 and the 10 amp, and even at 3.5 if you need to. It does have an eco mode, so it's got 2 speeds on this motor unit. When I turn it to the next notch now, it's going to start up just like your regular gas powered mower. Accessory, and then turn it to here. Here's the motor running. It's also running V-belts down there, and for your drive unit and for your blower. So we got to try out the blower right away. I looked down in there, there's nothing down in there. There shouldn't be. They hear a little noise from that plastic. Cool. Now it's not near as noisy as a gas engine, so it is spinning at the same speed as if you had a gas engine on this, but it doesn't sound like it, but that's because of the motor. One change that they've made to these snowblowers now is there is a safety on the impeller, so if you go to push down on it, it won't move. Just grab it with your glove and push this down, and then you can run it. There's no safety on the traction on the speed control. So it does have hand warmers, and they work nice. The 24-inch model doesn't have the hand warmers. That's really about the only difference between the two. Alright, it's ready to blow snow. Take the batteries that came with it and the chargers and go ahead and charge them up, and then go out and play, and let's hope for some snow and we'll get this thing to work. So, all right. If you like this video, please like it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Down in the dirt. Mm-hmm.